Hello, my name is Jordan Anderson, and this is for class B483. This is for week 5, kind of my reflection paper. I thought it would be kind of fun. Normally I'm pretty quiet and shy towards videos, but I wanted to be brave and bold, and I wanted to kind of go over this week's reflection by video. Starting with the first case this week, we started with the home plate case. I thought it was really fascinating how you allowed us to, I guess, learn a little bit more about the financial and kind of computing. I hope after you kind of look over my assignments this week, you could probably tell that I am a little bit more drawn with the excitement of compiling numbers. No, I'm not necessarily an accountant major by any means, but I taken quite some fun programming and Excel classes that I was really excited that I could apply and help with the other classmates with. As far as home plate, kind of learning a little bit about the convertible debt. I thought it was really interesting. I've never heard about it until now, but ultimately I find that it was a better opportunity for the initial owner, which in this case her name is Lexi, to hold a higher percentage of her company and still be able to get the necessary funding to expand her home plate delivery business. I think it was kind of a win-win for everybody. It's like she got the money, she could develop the business, and at a later time the angel investor would get a discount rate on shares, so they would still be able to own a fair amount of percentage, and as the company grows and as the percentage grows, then everybody of course is kind of a win-win situation where they'd all make a little bit of money, or they would make more than what their initial investment, and that's what they're going for. Kind of the drawback I thought was that the angel investor was going to be patient long enough for them to attract a new capital firm to actually set the price. That could have gone good or bad. In this particular case, it went really well. After kind of compiling the numbers and giving the different situations at hand, I thought it was really interesting. So the first one was that she goes 50-50 with her and the angel investor as far as shares goes. And so she would only put in $1,000 of her own, and the angel investor would only invest $50,000. And so, I mean, the post value of the company with the shares priced about at 50 cents, they're only looking about post value for the company over 100,000, which isn't really a whole lot of operating or expansion. And then to have Lexi be 50-50% with the angel investor, meaning that angel investor would have just as much pull or just as much say in her business. I think any individual that is really passionate towards what they're developing and growing into something, they work too hard to settle for 50-50. I think the actual creator and founder, the one that solves the problem, should be the one to at least hold 51% of the business. And the next option that you were giving was to sell the share price at $2 per share instead of 50 cents. And so then the angel investor can only afford 25,000 shares, which it would bring the post value up to 250,000 for the value of the company, and Lexi would still be able to hold 80% of her business. As far as the angel investor, he's still made out all right, even though $2 per share was a little bit steeper than what he probably initially wants to invest with that 50,000, but he would still own 20% of the business, which yet again, that is a great business for great initial expansion, but that's still not a whole lot of capital per se. So ultimately, I think it would be wise for them to have Lexi get an angel investor to grow, and then to go with the convertible debt loan. That way the angel gives her the money to expand her business and attract that Series A funding without either of them really having too much risk. It's pretty minimal, and that gives them the opportunity to have the financial firm to, I guess, bring a greater value to the company, just not the initial investment of what they're willing to pay. So I guess in the story it shows that the Series A, they were able to raise $300,000, and they set the share price at $2.50. Well, at that instant, the angel investor is going to get his discount and only pay about $1 a share. So kind of going over the numbers, I know it's really difficult unless you're really looking at my Excel spreadsheet up front. But I mean, ultimately, the configures show that with all three partners coming together, that they bring the company value up to $675,000, which is very comparable to really expanding and growing the company. The only downfall is now Lexi only holds 37%, and with the angel investor holding out until that price got set and then getting the discount rate, the angel investor walked away with 19%, whereas the Series A, which is Potato Rock in this case, would own 44%. So I mean, it's practically started business and then she gave it away only to be in control of, I guess, the financial advisor would be able to tell her to help grow the company, but that still gives her a high risk of possibly them taking her business from her. And then I guess in the next instant case, or I guess the final, it showed that the ownership would be Lexi 41%, angel investor 9%, and Potato Rock would be 50%. So that just gives Lexi pretty much a little bit more the percentage, a higher percentage of the business, but pretty much took it away from the angel investors rather than the Potato Rock. I guess some kind of, I'll go over some of your case questions and answers, and then I'll wrap it up with the next case. I don't want to bore you too much with too long, but I really am pretty passionate and excited to share with numbers. I really hope that I understood the case well enough to actually get the accurate numbers for this case, even though I know that wasn't the main focus. Focusing on the main business aspect, I feel that in any successful business, a lot of it really is the numbers. We need to focus, yes, on the people and how the different interaction with the different companies are, but ultimately I think the numbers are the best way to analyze and to make a decision on whether it would be a good deal to work with them or not, or to come up with a different contract. Because I mean, it all sounds really good to go 50-50 partnership in a business, but then if you're promising, well, if we convert that debt into actual numbers like money figures, they may be walking away with a higher percentage or more money of your company than you're willing to give up. It says, what option should Lexi choose for the seed round based on my analysis? And I said, after conducting the Homeplate capitalization analysis, Lexi should do a convertible debt with angel investors. She gets the money she needs to grow her business. She also gets to keep a higher percentage of her business. And then later she can really appeal to those Series A rounds where she may get the funding that she needs without having to give up the percentage, to where the Series A firm would take the majority of the percentage. So just as long as whoever she's doing business with, as long as she holds no less than 51%, I feel that would be a favorable business arrangement. The next fun-filled, exciting case that we got to work with is Yieldex case. I thought this was actually pretty fascinating. It's once again, I know it wasn't really expected, but with given some hints and some number figures about the shares and the share price, it was interesting to see going through everything and kind of, after Doug put him in the position of he created a very valuable business idea and he started the legwork for everything and he got in connection with the right people. It's really exciting to get connected with people that are actually within your working industry and they understand you at the level of expressing your programs or your platform per se. A lot of it happened too fast and too subtle. I mean, everything seemed to be changing in a matter of months rather than taking the time to really settle. My thought this case was strike while the iron was hot and bringing on as much Series A, Series B financial funding. Yeah, I don't understand how much it would cost to actually develop the program per se, but it sounded like he started off on the right start. And when Doug Hosman was faced with what should he do? Should he sell the company? Well, yeah, that would be a quick out for him. That'd take care of just him and his family, even though once he paid off his angel investors, that still didn't leave him with very much money. But then that kind of put his future at risk with how Turn Inc. would work the company over. Because, I mean, he was walking away with some shares, but at what percentage, like how many outstanding shares are there within the company, kind of to determine how many 2 million shares, what does that mean to the company if the outstanding shares are 4 million or 6 million? That would just only lower his percentage, which didn't really sound that appealing. And so I really, am excited to say that he, should turn down the offer and continue to pursue. But with him negotiating terms with what's his name, Tom Shields. I was excited to read the case portion about Tom Shield. I mean, it was very fascinating that he found an individual that proved a track record to be really successful. And he could speak the language of the platform, which I thought was pretty exciting as well. I mean, it would be not an everyday thing that any business individual would actually come across someone that could mentor him, someone that had a proven track record and that could speak his language and share his passion, and in fact show that he was working the same problem but only to not really succeed. And so, I mean, I think that kind of boosted both of them as far as excitements go. However, just because he was working on it prior to, I have yet to really grasp the concept of the title, co-founder. I mean, if it's just a title, I mean, that's kind of cool. Yeah, go ahead and give him that title. But I mean, if there's some other hidden legal things by him saying, yeah, I'm co-founder, I helped develop and build this company to what it is, I'm entitled to more than what he's fair of, then I would be against that co-founder title. But ultimately, Doug created the foundation. He came up with a solution. Yet again, I'm coming back to the percentage of equity. I would not want to give 50% of equity to Tom Shield because he may have proved himself in the history in a track record, but what can he do to prove on this company? What is going to motivate him and gear him? Yeah, he showed the same excitement for the platform, but honestly, I'd probably start offering him something less than 40%. In my idea, before I read the parts B and part C, I was initially thinking of offering, Tom 38%, and he has less than 5 years to at least bring the company to the break-even point. Because I didn't get the operating financial accounts to it, so I couldn't really figure out when the break-even point was. I was just guessing that a computer-based software company would at least need up to 5 years to hit their break point. Because, I mean, he raised funding up to so in Series A, in the example, he was raising just under 5 million, and then in the Series 2, he was raised under 10 million, and then by the Series C, he was bringing it up to just under 30 million, which numbers are pretty fascinating. I've never came close to the imagination of, millions, let alone 100,000s. But to be running and operating a multi-million-dollar company, I understand that Doug Cosman wasn't that individual. He didn't want to be that figure to be shown. He just wanted to create and solve this problem and get his portion of the value of the company without being taken advantage of. So I think any business, the first 2 to 3 years is usually kind of the sink or succeed. And with today's studies and way of communicating, they're more likely to succeed. So I think it was very plausible for a break-even point in a 5-year period. Because if you're trying to operate a business beyond 5 years and not become profitable, I don't know why you'd want to, dedicate or donate any more of your precious time to something that's just sinking or taking more money. Yet again, I guess it would come down to more of the actual details and numbers to really justify. But in this case, I feel that Tom Shields should be able to prove himself within the first 5 years in order to earn more than the standing offer of 38% rather than 50%. And then I guess the next question was yeah, I think Cosmo should offer Tom Shield a co-founder position, because I mean he's taken a lot out of his personal life to come and help develop this program. So I mean, I think if it would be a deal breaker whether or not to have a title, I don't quite fully understand the difference of whether a title is really that important or not. If it's important to him, then I think in order to utilize his skills and knowledge, I would offer him the co-founder, because I mean it's also in the early stages. So I mean there's a lot of changes that could be made. Tom Shield is taking a large pay cut and a big risk to join the company. Tom also brings a large successful profile of experience / connections to make the company successful. So I do think he does earn at least a starting 80 or 38% of the company rather than anything less than that. But as far as Cosman should turn for assistance in making these decisions, you should never make any decision without your significant other. So I think he should at least first talk to his wife, and together they should discuss it and they should pray about it. If you don't have Christ in the center of your life, then the world is unbalanced, and you may find yourself going through other trials that could have been avoided by watching and learning from others. I kind of view life as kind of the half full, half empty glass. It's just your perception. You can think that these trials are just, punishment, but in my opinion, they're there for you to make you stronger and to build you into the individual that you need to be in order to better serve God and all those around you. I guess I'm more of those just kind of relaxed, chill individuals that want to think positive, because I think life is too short to really draw on the negatives. Not saying that not every day can be a bad day, but if you don't look back and say, well, yeah, that was a bad day, but because I recognize that as a bad day, I can also recognize the really good days that you have. So I said that so Cosmo should talk to his wife and get her feedback. The two of them should pray about the upcoming decisions, and they will get the necessary blessings as long as they include the Lord in all things. I feel that it is good to get feedback from friends, because they are the ones you can trust. And if they are truly your friend, then they would understand whether you choose to do business with them or not. Technically, you really shouldn't mix friendship with business, because it often, little things can really damage your relationship. And I think after how long you take to develop your friendship, you shouldn't take that less effort to really destroy it. But like I said, if they truly are your friend, they will stand by your decision whether to do business with them or not. Anyways, this week has been a great week to connect with everybody, to learn and grow. Hope I didn't bore you too much, and I appreciate this opportunity to go to school to learn and grow. And I can't do it without the mentors, my instructors. So thank you, and have a good weekend.